Hello everybody, welcome back to All In Knock for the 10th round of the FIA Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Russia. We're in the south of the country on the shores of the Black Sea. It's the first time we've been back here as well since 2012. Back then it was Semiguri and that was further north, but here we are, All In Knock. And what a great part of the world it is as well. But we've had beautiful weather for the last few days, but if you were just with us for the MX2 broadcast, then you know the weather has taken a turn for the worst. However, circuit conditions are still very much rideable. It's a good firm base here out on the racetrack. But in terms of where we are, about 900 miles south of Moscow. That's about 1,470 kilometers. If you're going to drive it, it'll take you about 16.5 hours. Just goes to show how big this place is. Well, the skies are starting to lift. That is the Black Sea over there, just the other side of those trees. The beaches come right up to the base of those trees pretty much. And across the road there is the All In Knock Children's Centre. Temperature continuing to drop here, 15 degrees now. But despite what looks like a muddy racetrack, it is very, very firm underneath. It was already a rock base anyway. They brought in dirt to bolster the circuit here on this 1,500-meter racetrack. Take a look at our GoPro track preview then. This was yesterday when we had perfect conditions. 90 meters up into turn 1, uphill and left, 180. Tightens up if you're out on the right-hand side to kink back down through turn 2. There's the Monster Energy finish line immediately, and then it's a long drag uphill. See the rock starting to show through. Going down past pit lane. They slowed it down here with that single, then this hip jump, and then the corner jump dropping down through turn 4. Then it was a run up through the gully onto the Epone plateau, and then at the end of there the ground fell away to the left again, dropping down. Serious elevation on this racetrack here in Russia. And then uphill onto this plateau. It's an off-cambered left-hander here, then a quick right, dropping back down again. 2 singles on the downhill just to upset the balance of the bike. Suspension wanting to do its own thing. Into this bank turn 8 at the bottom of the hill, onto the longest climb. A lot of rock showing through there as well. Offering a lot of grip at the moment, has to be said, given the race conditions. Dropping down through turn 9, the first of 3 tabletops, 18 meters the first one, the short one is 12 meters. And then the Monster Energy, it's a double step down here, 25 meters to the downside. Then down hard on the brakes into this turn 10, uphill, as you can see, just onto that crest, out of turn 11, dropping down. And then up onto this veranda, 45 degrees into a wave section, about 8 waves through there, dropping downhill as well actually. You can double into this last one in the dry, and then up and over that camelback into the 180 right. Deep rut through there at the moment, a lot of water out on the track right now as well, through this left. Now this jump was so spectacular yesterday. Seat bounce on the way over this, turning through the turn, dropping down spectacularly through the hill, through the valley, up and over the Tag Heuer jump as well, 27 meters, and then stepping up into this right-hander, 2 corners from the finish. Down here, a series of waves, you could double and then double onto the plateau, and then crest the hill. There's your first turn to the left, over the Fox hole shot line again, then through the right-hander. That's your Monster Energy finish line jump. And that is a lap of the All In Knock circuit here in Russia for round 10 of the Motocross World Championship. There's Evgeny Bobryshev, Tony Cairoli, and Alessandro Lupino talking away amongst themselves. Bobryshev back as well from that broken collarbone he picked up in Germany. But it has stopped raining. It is warm here as well in terms of the air. The actual ambient temperature is a bit cooler, but here's
hello and welcome to a very wet and muddy start grid here for the MXGP, guys. But the rain has stopped, so fingers crossed. But I do want to speak to the home hero, which is Evgeny Bobryshev. We haven't seen him for a few weeks, so I just want to get an update on everything. Evgeny, just tell us how's the collarbone?
It's slow, really. It's painful riding here, and it's been only 3 weeks since my surgery. And yeah, you know, I'm doing my best with the team to cover it correctly, and then taking some painkillers to reduce the pain.
Yeah.
But it's difficult, you know, after 2.5 weeks to ride, and mentally and physically. But you know, I'm trying to do my best and be consistent, as the season is still long to go. Just get healthy and back on the podium again.
And just tell us how difficult it was yesterday, because I mean, of course, you didn't seem yourself on the bike, and you went off at one point as well. Was it a pretty hard race?
Yeah, it's good. Like, I've been missing really, like, you know, timing and speed in the corners and braking. As like I said, I haven't been on a bike, so the concentration is a bit late. So, and also physically, I've been a bit stiff with my shoulder. Try to save it, but I was quite happy till my crash. I was sixth, but that finished 11. It's still good. So for me, just to collect points, you know. Now conditions really rough and wet. So see how it goes.
And finally, how special is it to be here at the MXGP of Russia here in Ulyanok? I mean, the crowd love it, and I guess you have all the sport behind you.
Oh yeah. I couldn't miss this race. No. It's you know, I love it to be here for sure with the crowd and people, like a lot of support. This is important, and yeah, like, and I'm happy that I'm racing here. You know, okay, not 100% fit, but you know, I'm on the track with the people over here, and I'm enjoying every moment here.
Well, it's great to have you back.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks for that, Bobby. Good luck to all the guys here. It's time for the first MXGP race.
Before we go anywhere, though, let's take a quick look at the championship standings. Tony Cairoli on 347. He's 50 points clear of Gauthier Paulin. Clement de Sal, look how close he is, just 8 points behind Paulin. So there's a bit of a tussle going on there for that second place. Tim Geiser is fourth, he's not here. And then Jeremy Van Horbeke is 5, Herlings 6, Bobryshev, Herber and Nagel, with Koldenhoff rounding out the top 10. So the rain still falling a little bit here, but nothing like it was for MX2 race 1. So let's hope it stays away for MXGP race 1. MXGP riders down on the gate then, getting ready for their first race. We've already seen the right, this is what happened in the qualifying race highlights yesterday. Uphill on board here with AJ. Fevre got nudged there by de Sal into his teammate, and that would have dire consequences for the Monster Energy Yamaha rider. Fevre managed to get his way through and stay out of trouble. Came through in around about 6th or 7th place on that opening lap, but for Jeremy Van Horbeke, he was forced to pit into the pit lane area immediately, and he has a broken hand as a result of that. So already on his way home to Belgium. Honor Tonas, though, found his way quickly past the 222 of Tony Cairoli and went after Gauthier Paulin and Max Nagel, the two Rockstar Energy Husqvarnas riding line astern. Shows you how the track not deteriorated, but just obviously the dirt disappearing off the top. The shiny rock faces there as well, but this was Paulin trying to find his way past his teammate Nagel. He dogged him for about 5 laps before eventually finding his way through, and it was an aggressive move at the end of this straight as well. Got the good drive and stayed low over the tabletop and ran it down the inside and stole the line away from Nagel and took over the lead. Nagel was then in second, but came under pressure from Tonas on the Wilvo Yamaha. Of course, Tony Cairoli was just happy to sit back there in 4th place. This was the only moment, really, of any concern for Gauthier Paulin. Landed in neutral, and a little bit heavy as well, but he did manage to stay on and keep hold of that lead. Dessau was comfortable in 5th place. Fevre was eventually up to 6th with a pass on Evgeny Bobryshev. And then Herlings was right there. So too Max Anstey and Arminas Jasikonis. HA was on a charge as well. He'd started outside of the top 10. Eventually came home in 7th place. After passing Max Anstey with about 3 laps to go. But it went wrong for Nagel. Bounced his way awkwardly through the Witham section, out of 2nd position. Was a little bit dazed when he got up. Cairoli came through to take over 3rd. Nagel went straight back to the paddock. That put Arnotonis in with a chance. He was up into 2nd and giving chase to the number 21 of Gauthier Paulin on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. And in the end, it was a simple mistake from Paulin. Anstey got nudged aside by the hard-charging 27 from Lithuania, Arminas Jasikonis, and Anstey had nowhere to go. That was where the pass happened. That was Paulin going down, picked himself up quickly, but by then, Tonis had gone through to the lead. And it was Arnotonis who eventually cruised down to the finish line to take his first win in MXGP. It was a qualifying race win, and it was Tonis from Paulin, Cairoli, Dessau, and Fevre. Clear skies on the horizon then here in Russia. The circuit is pretty wet, as you would have seen from the MX2 race, but here's how the riders go to the line. Arnotonis for Wilvo Yamaha MXGP, Gauthier Paulin next, then Tony Cairoli, Clément Dessau, Roman Fevre, Jeffrey Herlings, Arminas Jasikonis, and Max Anstey. Alessandro Lupino and Jose Boutron. Bobryshev goes to the line 11th in his home round here, ahead of Glenn Koldenhoff, Ruben Salves, Kenda Dijker, Damon Grallis, Tano Leop, Vakishlev Golovkin, Roman Morozov, Alexandra Bobryshev, Vladislav Leonov, Alexander Efimov, and the rest, as you can see on screen. But Valentin Guillot also has a hand injury. He was also involved in that first turn tussle in the qualifying race, so both him and Jeremy Van Hoorbeek will not start. This rider will, though, Arnotonis, Wilvo Yamaha MXGP. How are his mud riding skills? I tell you what, one rider who would have loved it out there today would be his teammate, Sean Simpson, number 24. He was the fastest in the time session in Indonesia. He went and turned that into a race win as well for a Grand Prix victory at that 2nd round of the World Championship earlier this year. I'm sure it was him that was doing the rain dance in the living room last night. Well, whatever he did, it paid off. There's Gauthier Paulin. Rockstar Energy Husqvarna Factory Racing goes to the line 2nd. He's 2nd in the championship as well. 50 points down on Tony Cairoli, who was 3rd in the qualifying race yesterday. There he is, what, about 5 gates down from the box. Number 222 alongside. We've got Roman Fevre to his right. Is that Boutron? I think it is, to his left. So Jose Boutron. Yeah, on the Marchetti Racing Team KTM, is up the inside of Cairoli, but Bobryshev down the inside gate here, or one of the inside gates, that's for sure. 444 just pushing his bike to the line there, Alexander Bobryshev, but Roman Fevre, he was saying this morning that after the warm-up session where it was quite sticky, if it didn't rain anymore, then it would be very, very good out there. But it has rained, and I tell you what, I think personally that's made the track a little bit better because it's diluted that dirt. It's made it a little bit more forgiving. You're not going to be governed by a long, hard, sticky rut. The ground has got a bit more give in it, so you can switch lines accordingly, get out of any kind of ruts. What about Jeffrey Herlings? Not known for his mud riding skills. Look at him, he's got 2 pairs of goggles on, and he's obviously doing his best there to hide that, but 2 pairs of goggles. We've seen him do that before in the past. Doesn't want to waste time coming in for pit stops. So Jeffrey Herlings, once again, being the innovative one after Jeff Ward did it all those years ago at Unadilla at the Motocross of Nations, of course an event that the US riders won on home soil all those years ago, 30 years ago now in fact. So taking a leaf out of Wardy's book, The Flying Freckle. Warm-up times here for the MXGP riders today, 1:54.7, 15-second board has gone up. The lap time in the qualifying race yesterday, 1:40.1, that was by Cairoli, and it was a 2:01 in the MX2 race earlier on today, just to give you some kind of indication as to how conditions have changed. 5-second board is up, 10 seconds. Cairoli leads then, heading downhill over the 3 tabletops at the top end of the circuit, dropping down into turn 9. He's the cleanest rider on track at the moment. He's got his teammate Jeffrey Herlings right there behind him. And then we have the number 99 of Max Anstey. A bit of a feely lap then for these guys as they go through, but you can see how tentative they are, but that'll start to come good to them. So we saw how rapid the likes of the MX2 riders were in that first MX2 race earlier on today, but great start for the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna of Max Anstey. He's there in third, just behind Jeffrey Herlings, who we know is going out with 2 sets of goggles on, just in case he feels the need for a pit stop. So 2 Red Bull KTMs leading the way. And then it's the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. Then it's Lupino for Red Motor Honda. 5th is now, well, it was Evgeny Mikhailov. We'll get them through, and they're still making some noise for him as he goes through. Mikhailov, there's AJ going through just behind him as well. But Bobryshev is in there well placed. There is Bobryshev, so he's in 5th place. There's Alminas Jasikonis. That is a slow opening lap, 2:10.6 for the MXGP riders. There's DeSalle going through, up on the pegs on that Monster Energy Kawasaki, the green fender. There's Paulin in red, Tonus there as well. Then Leon, number 7, then Fevre. So we've got Cairoli, Herlings, Anstey, Lupino, Bobryshev, Jasikonis 6, DeSalle 7, 8 is Paulin, Tonus 9, Leon 10, Fevre 11, Evgeny Mikhailov is 12, Max Nagel 13, Butron is 14, 15 is Gonçalves, Didika, Growlers, Gusev, Leonov and Koldenov. Cairoli just still trying to pick his way around here. Interesting to see what their lap times come down to, actually, because in MX2 race 1, the fastest lap on lap 3 was a 2:01.647 from Thomas Kjær Olsen. It's quite firm underneath. It's a rock bed circuit here, dirt on top, so still plenty of traction out there, and the guys probably can't believe how much traction there is out there, to be honest. It was a 2:10.6 for Tony Cairoli on that opening lap. Herling's still there in 2nd, 3rd is Nancy, Lupino is still 4th, 5th is Bobryshev, 6 now is DeSalle, 7 Paulin, 8 Tonus, 9 is Fevre, 10 Leop, 11 Mikhailov, 12 Nagel, Jasikonis down to 13th on that Suzuki. And Nagel, of course, riding with a slight hand injury as well after going down in that spectacular qualifying crash yesterday. No Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, a broken bone in his hand. Valentin Guillaume, something similar, we're told, after... so both riders left here in plaster casts after their qualifying races yesterday. Guillaume, I'm told, will be going home on Monday, and Van Hoorbeek wanted to get home last night as soon as possible, so he may already be home in Belgium or first flight out of here this morning. But Cairoli just decided, okay, didn't see that puddle first time around. Let's get myself a little bit of clean air and put that front wheel up in the air. So, top 3 over the line then. Cairoli, a 2:07.9. That lap time is getting down. It's coming down quicker. 2:08.6, 2:08.7 for Herlings and Anstey. So Jasikonis then didn't go down. He called in for a pit stop, so maybe coming in for a goggle stop, actually, as we've seen already riders do. Lupino 4th, Bobryshev is 5th, Paulin is 6th, DeSalle 7, Fevre 8, Tonus 9, Leop 10, Jasikonis 11, Nagel 12, 13 Mikhailov, 14 Gonçalves, Didika 15. 16th is Koldenov, 17 is Vitaly Gusev. There is Fevre on the back end of Bobryshev, so he's now got himself into 6th place and looking to go around the Russian, who will take the Yamaha rider wide and shut the door. This is a proper leveler for Bobryshev, coming here 3 weeks after breaking a collarbone in 3 places. He's had that surgery. It was all padded out underneath his body armor yesterday, so not to rub the scar area and upset that. But with the track being a lot slower than it was, some 20-odd seconds slower, obviously you're not pushing as hard and you're not jumping as hard, landing as hard, all those kind of things. And it is certainly making it easier for Bobryshev in this one. But look at Max Anstey here, number 99. Closing in, there's a yellow flag. Is that Cairoli or is that a back marker? No, it's the back marker. Cairoli legging his way through that long rut, and Herlings needs to be careful, so too does Anstey. They go either side of the back marker there. That was probably just pure luck at the fact that they got no vision as well through that part of the racetrack. But charging down and up and over the Tag Heuer tabletop, 27 meters, nice and firm on the takeoffs there. That's the gap between the top three. Slight bobble there and a cost for Anstey. Lost a lot of time there. Right, that's Lupino still there in fourth. That was a back marker he went by. Couldn't quite see who that was behind. Might have been another back marker, but there's Fevre. Has Fevre got himself up into fifth place? I think he has, you know. He has. So Fevre goes through in fifth. But that, is that right? Because Bobryshev going down the order to ninth place then, according to our live timing. Cairoli, Herlings, Anstey, Lupino, Fevre with the fastest lap of the race, a 2:05.4. Paulin 6, DeSalle 7, Tonus 8, Bobryshev in 9th, Tano Leok 10, Jasikonis 11, Nagel is now in 12th as Cairoli just picking his way gingerly through the bottom of the hill here, turn 8. Max Anstey just losing a handful of time at the final couple of corners there as he parked it in a rut. Right, here is Lupino. He's in 4th for Red Moto Honda. And there is the 461 of Romain Fevre, the former champ. Looking good on that Monster Energy Yamaha. Ruts are starting to form at the bottom of that short 12-meter tabletop. Nothing on the run up to the Monster Energy step down. 25 meters there. Back marker doing his best to stay out of the way. And then gets right in the way of Romain Fevre and almost tips over as well and costs the 461 a lot of time. He'll be spewing underneath that helmet. He's got it all to do again. Still got 22 minutes plus 2 laps to go though, but what a great ride this is from Alessandro Lupino. Haven't seen him this high up since his MX2 days when he was Kawasaki mounted, of course. Fevre, that would have cost him time because Paulin has closed right in on his fellow Frenchman. He was rapidly fast yesterday, was Gauthier Paulin, when it was hard and dry and slick. And there's DeSalle closing in as well. So all of a sudden, Fevre has unwanted company in the form of Gauthier Paulin on that Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, and the Monster Energy Kawasaki of Clément DeSalle in 7th place. Tonus on the Wilvo Yamaha is in 8th place. And there was a, what was his lap time yesterday? Actually similar, not yesterday, that time around. 2:09s for him, Paulin 2:10. Fevre was a 2:05, but Cairoli sets the fastest lap, 2:03.4, and he's 4.4 clear. Gauthier Paulin getting a little bit out of shape at the end of pit lane there as he's pushed all the way by the hard-charging Kawasaki of Clément DeSalle. Arnaud Tonus has got himself right back into contention as well. He's got those guys just ahead of him at the end of that straight. Tony Cairoli, riding blind there. The mud now starting to camouflage the rocks as they head uphill there, and they look like bumps, and then the next thing, the back end spits out just because it's caught a shiny edge, a slippery edge. And such a lot of unknowns here, but conditions not unrideable. I'm sure they've ridden worse in the past. Fox Hills, Motocross of Nations springs to mind. 1998, of course. Maggiora just a couple of years ago springs to mind as Cairoli gets parked up there momentarily behind a back marker after setting that fastest lap of the race. He's 4.4 seconds clear of his teammate Jeffrey Herlings in what is a Red Bull KTM 1-2 at the moment. There is Herlings at the top of your screen, and Anstey just behind him on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. Lupino on the 77 Honda Red Moto machine is just a few seconds further back. 9 seconds, in fact, at the start of lap 5. I wonder if Herlings has got rid of that first pair of goggles yet or not. It might come into play in the later stages of the race. Right, Paulin right back on the rear wheel of Fevre once again. The amount of roofs they're taking. These guys absolutely covered as they drop downhill. Paulin started race 1 here at this 10th round of the FIA Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Russia. 50 points adrift of Tony Cairoli as Fevre pushes the front wheel too wide, goes through the berm and has to get himself back up, and riders can't see because of they're absolutely plastered in mud. Who was that ran over? Was that Tonus running over the machine there? I think it was. Just couldn't see as he came out of the turn. But Febvre losing vital ground then, down to 7th. In fact, no, it wasn't Tonus that ran over the bike. Must have been a back marker because Tonus just goes through. In fact, it probably was actually, because of where that incident happened. So Cairoli leads 2.8 clear of his teammate. Anstey is 3rd, Lupino 4th, Paulin is now 5th, DeSalle 6th, Tonus 7, Jasikonis 8, Leok is 9. Febvre, we're still waiting for him to cross the line. It's Nagel now in 10th. Febvre is in 11th place, an expensive mistake for the Monster Energy Yamaha rider who was there in 5th position. And Febvre, being told, has gone to the work area in pit lane, possibly for new goggles and new gloves. Yeah, there he is. So Manuel Polvato there on the left, his mechanic. The guys are getting them cleaned up. You know what, they can take a bit of time here because clean gloves, clean goggles, he'll be in a much better position, but only time will tell. Here's Cairoli. There's Herlings. Oh, Herlings has definitely got his radar on, hasn't he? Homing in on his teammate. That's not a 2.8 second advantage anymore, is it? Look how deep it is. This is probably as good as I've seen Herlings ride in the mud, actually. On the whole, I mean, he's probably had okay performances in the mud. But there's Cairoli. That's not 2.8 seconds anymore, that's for sure. That's where Febvre crashed a lap ago. See Cairoli going around the outside there and just keeping that momentum a little bit more, wheeling up through that one mud puddle. But is it 2 point anything? Oh, it's 3 seconds. So I think Herlings loses time in that final sector, that final right-left through the raves. But so Cairoli leads, Herlings 2nd, Anstey is 3rd, 4th is Lupino, 5th is Paulin, and DeSalle 6th, about 3 seconds behind the Frenchman now. Tonus has gone missing from 7th because Jasikonis has gone up to 7th, and he's already been in for a pit stop as Bobryshev comes in. So Jasikonis then, he made his move early, came in for a pit stop. He's got himself into 7th place. 8th is Nagel. Tonus down. That's Tonus. That's where Tonus made his mistake, through those waves at the top of the hill there. So where will Tonus remount? We're still waiting for him to come through. He was up there behind DeSalle, wasn't he, in 7th place, but still waiting for him to come through. We've only got 9 riders over the line at the moment. Right, Tonus goes through in 10th then. Febvre was 11th, he's down to 15th, so don't tell me he's thrown his golden opportunity away with goggles and clean gloves. That'll be costly. Unless it's just we're just waiting for him to come through, and maybe he already went through in 15th. But here is Anstey pushing onto the rear end of the 84 of Jeffrey Herlings. So all of a sudden we're going to have a very, very interesting second half of the race here, or certainly 15.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go, because Cairoli is not that far ahead of Herlings and Anstey. So far, Jeffrey Herlings, 3 race wins in his rookie season, 2 of those in Latvia, the first one in Germany. Cairoli just leaning back. You see that one distinct line. I wonder if the outside line is working at the moment, actually, because that was a nice clean run around the outside. You've got the edge of the bank there just to keep your wheels in check. No deep ruts. He's 2.9 seconds clear as he heads. Oh, it was 2.9, but there is Herlings right behind him, and Anstey. All of a sudden we've got a 3-way here for the lead. Throw a blanket over these guys all of a sudden. And Cairoli, got to be careful. Obviously he's approaching back markers. He's getting roosted. And Herlings just all of a sudden starting to loosen up a little bit here with 14 minutes to go. And he's bringing Anstey with him as well on that Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. So Cairoli, Herlings, Anstey, Lupino 13 seconds further back in 4th for Honda Red Moto. 5th is Paulin, just 2 seconds further back. Then DeSalle 2 adrift as well. And then in 7th place, Jasikonis Nagel was 8th. He sets an own personal best lap that time around. Leok 9, Tonas 10, Evgeny Mikhailov is 11, and then Roman Fevre up to 12th. Glenn Koldenoff 13th. What are Fevre's lap times? We'll get a time on him this time around. He did fall. It was a 2:50 that time around for him, according to our timing screen. So it did come in for freshies, but didn't put it to good use, it would appear. Cairoli, Herlings, Anstey, all on the same bit of racetrack here, coming towards us. And Anstey looking menacing there in that 3rd place. Tonas coming in now for goggles. What a difficult race it's been for these guys in MXGP Race 1. The MX2 riders certainly looked like they had the better conditions because that rain was falling and continued to fall, washed away all the dirt, kept the ruts nice and loose as well. But Cairoli, he's on borrowed time here. He opts for the outside, as usual. And I think that's where he just gains that little bit over Jeffrey Herlings, because keeps that momentum going. And just pulls clear. It's not 2.9 seconds anymore. It is 1.7 seconds. And Anstey just 3.8 off the lead as well. So he's a second behind, or 2 seconds behind Herlings as they charge down the straight there. Everybody down in pit lane just telling their guys just to use their noggins a little bit. Don't do anything unnecessary. 3.8 seconds apart. Cairoli, Herlings and Anstey. Fastest lap time has been a 2:03.4, so Thomas Kjær-Olsen set the fastest lap on lap 3 in MX2. It's just always an indicator to get a guide as to how circuit conditions have deteriorated. Cairoli's early laps were 2:10s, 2:09s. He got down to a 2:03.4 on lap 4, and he's 2:08.9 that time around. 2:07s for Herlings and Anstey on that lap 8. 2:03.5 for Roman Fevre, fastest lap of his race. 2:03.5. That's only 1/10 down on Cairoli. Oh, was that Dessau? Yeah, Dessau was getting a little bit loose there coming down the hill. There's Paulin just behind him, so Dessau has found his way past Paulin, gets himself up into 4th with Ross Lupino as well. So Lupino goes from 4th to 6th because Dessau, and there is Lupino at the top of the hill. Dessau has found his way past Paulin and Lupino, gets himself into 4th place then. Good lap for the Belgian on that Monster Energy Kawasaki. So it's Cairoli, Herlings, Anstey. Dessau now 4th, Paulin 5th, Lupino 6th, Jasicone 7th, Nagel 8th, Leok 9 and Fevre 10. But it was 2:09 that time around for Fevre. He's definitely putting some laps down now. Here's your battle for the lead. Jeffrey Herlings gunning for Tony Cairoli. Continues to use the inside through that rhythm section, Jeffrey Herlings. And Cairoli had traffic ahead of him as well and just pulls a quick tear off there. And we've got to remember here, we've got very, very difficult conditions. We saw MX2 race 1 make the completion. And we're seeing this one go all the way to the end as Herlings runs alongside Cairoli. Cairoli will just run him out there. Herlings leads on lap 10. Takes the lead away from Cairoli. But is this, crucially, going to be a Grand Prix deciding moto here? Will we run a second moto? Of course, that's a decision for the race director and the FIM to make, but certainly conditions are okay at the moment. It depends what kind of work they can do on the track in the break. And I'm guessing that the EMX 300 race might just get bumped up the schedule altogether here because their race has already been delayed from first thing this morning. So one or two decisions need to be made out there today. And I'm glad I don't have to make them, but it's just speculative, of course, in terms of if we're going to put the flag out now and Herlings cross the line first. Is that a race win or is that a Grand Prix victory? And much the same is the MX2, without giving anything away. The result from MX2, will that stand as a race win or a Grand Prix victory? Because as you can see, they can clearly get around. There aren't too many stranded bikes and bodies around this racetrack because of the hard-based nature of this all-in-ox circuit. As I said before in MX2, if you're going to come to a racetrack and have this much rain on it, then this is probably the perfect place to come because it has shown to be a very rideable circuit indeed, and that is the main thing. But it's Herlings who leads then on lap 10. Cairoli second. Anstey is third. And here he is, just to the right of your shot, going after Cairoli, or has he gone down the inside? No. There's Cairoli. So Cairoli then, just see the 2:22 through the mud splattered race shirt of his. What's happening further down? Tano Leok has been pushed down to 11th because Tonus has gone through to 9th and Fevra 10th. Tonus a 2:05.5 lap time, 2/10 quicker than DeSalle, a 2:05.7. So there is grip out there, and there are some good lines out there. It's how you, well, it's how confident are you to go offline, and sometimes that line might get found by mistake, you know, because you've approached the back marker you don't want to follow. Joel Smets there just urging on the boys. More importantly there, I guess, Tony Cairoli, because he's in that side of the garage, isn't he? So Herlings 5.6 seconds clear. His lap time last time around was a 2:06.777 compared to the 2:13.5 of Tony Cairoli, 2:14.8 of Anstey, who's now 5 seconds adrift as well. So we're equidistant between the top three guys. 5 seconds between Herlings and Cairoli, and another 5 seconds between Cairoli and Anstey. Then DeSalle is 12 seconds further back in 4th on his Monster Energy Kawasaki. Paulin is next on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, 9 seconds adrift in 5th place. Lupino, a solid ride for the Honda Red Moto rider, the Italian, in 6th place. Jasakonis is only 6 seconds behind him for Suzuki World MXGP, lapped 5 seconds quicker that time around. So Lupino's 6th place is under threat, it would appear, on this 10th lap. Or on lap 11, I should say. Nagel is 8th, Tonus 9, a 2:04.622. So Tonus all of a sudden the fastest rider on track. There is Anstey. No goggles for the Brits, or has he still got his roll-off? Might still have goggles on under there. So Tonus 9, Fevra 10, Leop 11, Geny Mikhailov is in 12th place on his Husqvarna. 13th is Glenn Koldenoff. Oh, and was that DeSalle? I think it was DeSalle passing Anstey. So from out of nowhere, DeSalle then decides to throw his goggles away, gets himself into 3rd place. So DeSalle is on a charge. Looking good as well. How far is he off the lead, though? 8 seconds adrift, or thereabouts. Well, you know what? He's made 8 seconds on Anstey that time around. So has Anstey made a mistake? Or is it just wrestling with goggles and roll-offs and that kind of thing? But certainly this fella here, 25, Monster Energy Kawasaki, Clement DeSalle, looking very assured in that 3rd place. He's 10 seconds off of Cairoli, 21 seconds off of Jeffrey Herlings, and his lap time was a 2:09.9 compared to the 2:15.9 of Tony Cairoli. So give him a couple of laps, he'll be giving Cairoli a run for that 2nd position at the very, very least. Might just be too much to do for him to find his way onto the rear wheel of Jeffrey Herlings, though. That's the problem. 5.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Still, plenty can happen around this Orléanox circuit. Where is Cairoli? That's what DeSalle is thinking. It's probably at the bottom of the hill, actually. Looks like Bobryshev heading up the hill for Team HRC. If that is the case, then he's in 16th position. Right, there's Cairoli. So that's Cairoli. He's in 2nd place. Where's his teammate? Is Herlings. He's leading the race. He's 11 seconds clear at the start of this lap. So he's already going to be hitting the 3rd sector point any moment now. That drops the riders down over the corner Monster Energy jump. So we'll pick up him if we can as well, Jeffrey Herlings, because I'm sure he's looking very smooth. Yeah, he's just gone through. He's heading downhill towards the Tag Heuer jump, Jeffrey Herlings. That gives you some indication of what roughly there he is stepping up into that top right-hander. So Cairoli then, has he lost ground on this lap? It was a 2:10.6 for Jeffrey Herlings here, your race leader. He started with 2 pairs of goggles. Will he finish with 2 pairs of goggles? That's the question, I guess. Obviously, that was there for just in case he was thinking of a pit stop. And more crucially, I guess, come on to Sal. How much time has he taken out of Tony Cairoli as he drops down towards the finish line here to click off lap 12? 2:12.2 for Herlings, 2:13.3. That's something more like it for Tony Cairoli. But that gap, 12.1 seconds now between the two Red Bull KTMs, and Cairoli having to take evasive action there as a fallen rider or a parked rider, just causing one or two problems for him. Right, DeSalle is 12 seconds down on Cairoli with a lap time 2 seconds slower that time around. So the threat isn't there then at the moment from DeSalle. He's 7 seconds clear of Gauthier Paulin, though, who was 3 seconds quicker than the Belgian. So is there going to be a last few laps surge from Gauthier Paulin to get himself a third-place finish here in Moto number 1 on that Rockstar Energy Husqvarna? He's got his teammate Max Anstey behind him now in 5th, so it was a good start for the Brit, but just the conditions in the latter stages of the race starting to play their part. But it's still going to be a good result for Max Anstey. Got a 6th in the second motos in both Latvia and Germany. They were career best finishes for him in the MXGP in his rookie season. He's looking to go go one better here in this first MXGP race here. Round 10 of the F1 Motocross World Championship. The MXGP of Russia, once again, there is Cairoli. The circuit has definitely changed. It was in much better condition for the MX2 race. It was a lot more lucid, and the rain really doing its thing, but the ground is starting to get a lot more sticky now in the closing stages of this MXGP race, that's for sure. The bike's a lot more heavier. The rut's a lot more deeper. But Herlings was 12.1 seconds clear at the start of the lap. And there's just 2 minutes plus 2 laps to go here. MXGP Race 1 in Russia. Romain Febvre heads uphill then. He has completed 12 laps, and he goes down at the bottom of the hill at the base of that tabletop jump. So not been a good race for Romain Febvre. Didn't lose any positions there. Paulin has gone back down to 5th place. Anstey's found his way back past his teammate. So was that a mistake? We'll soon find out as the riders come back through, and we'll pick up their lap times. But for Romain Febvre, I was going to say, he was clocking in some decent lap times earlier. It was a 2:06 last time around for him. That's a pretty sizable chunk to be taken out of the top guys who are on 2:12s and 2:16s, 2:15s. The only one guy quicker than him was a 2:07 on Tonus on lap 13. Febvre been lapped? Just trying to work that out actually at the moment. Don't think he has been actually, because Herlings has completed 13 laps, so too has Cairoli, who's now 16 seconds adrift. DeSalle 10 seconds further back in 3rd. Anstey is another 10 seconds further back in 4th. He's 7 seconds clear of Paulin in 5th place. And then we have Lupino next in 6th. Jasikonis 7th. Nagel 8th. Tonus 9th. And Febvre should be next in 10th, all completing 13 laps. There is Tonus. Look how deep it is at the end of the straight there. There he's got Nagel just ahead of him as well, Tonus. So another point in the offering here for the Swiss rider who was victorious in the qualifying race yesterday. There's Cairoli, and DeSalle, is that closing in on him? No. So a back marker. Just saw a flash of green, that was all. But Tony Cairoli knows that he is ahead of Gauthier Paulin. And he's on 22 points. 16 points for Paulin. So that's going to be a 6-point haul difference between Tony Cairoli and Gauthier Paulin. So that pushed the lead out to 56 points after this first race. It was 50 at the start of the day. Cairoli knows, though, doesn't he? It was on our MXGP TV studio show yesterday, Saturday. Of course, you can tune in and watch that whenever you want. Also on our MXGP Facebook channel, and hear what he has to say, you know, in terms of experience as well. You know, coming in here 50 points clear and how he deals with that kind of thing. We also had Thomas Kjær-Olsen on. We also had Marnik Bevoorts on as well, the team manager from Khmer Yamaha. Jeffrey Herlings. 2 laps to go for the Bullet. He was quick yesterday in time training. Didn't quite have it in the qualifying race, but settled for 6th. But of course, no points on the line for qualifying. 25 points here up for grabs. Looked like he had got no goggles on there, so possibly throwing 2 pairs of goggles away. Jeffrey Herlings, in which case, is 22, 23 seconds clear of Tony Cairoli at the moment. He could have still come in for a pit stop. You just never know, do you? Obviously, he's the only one that's shrewd enough to decide, you know what, I don't mind going out for a few laps with 2 pairs of goggles, getting rid of a pair, and then riding out the rest of the race with a pair of goggles if he could. But not everybody maybe wanting to do that. They might watch it back again, though, and try again. But these kind of conditions are few and far between. They are really extreme. Of course, what's making the circuit more difficult now is the lack of rain. So while it was very difficult, there was a lot of water laying on the track for MX2 Race 1. Could do with a little bit of water on the track now, bizarrely. Right, there's DeSalle. He is closing in on Tony Cairoli. It was 6 seconds at the start of this penultimate lap. He's still got his head down. It was a 2:23 for Cairoli, 2:18.9 for DeSalle. He'll look to his right and see Cairoli just going out of that turn and think, well, is that Cairoli? Oh, look at that, dragging the foot pegs through the deep ruts here. We are axle deep. Jeffrey Herlings already on his final lap. He's hit the line 15 times, has Jeffrey Herlings so far. And there he is, he's already down past pit lane area. 17 laps was MX2 Race 1. So this race is going to be a lap slower. Just gives you some indication then at how different the circuit conditions are. Rider just going out on the circuit there. I think that was the 444 of Alexander Bobryshev, or it might have been Alexander Efimov, the 333. If it was 333, that was Efimov. Here's Cairoli, still in second, but by how much? Well, he had 6 seconds over DeSalle coming into this final lap. We have had a 1-2 with Red Bull KTM before in this 2017 season. Looks like we're going to get another one. Cairoli just picking his way methodically now. Just got to be careful. Look how deep those ruts are. They're hard now as well. There's DeSalle in the background. That gap is coming down. I think Cairoli might just have enough in hand. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Herlings is just through the second sector. There he is, getting ready to hit sector 3. He'll turn left, hit the Monster Energy jump, stepping down. Just gives a quick look to the team across the way. He's 20 seconds clear at the start of this lap. There's Cairoli getting caught behind a back marker. Cairoli just here below us. No, that's not Cairoli. But here's Herlings. Final lap then. Final couple of corners for the Red Bull KTM rider, the Bullet, Jeffrey Herlings. He's gone through 2 pairs of goggles in this moto. But he won't care because Oakley just throw them at him here. He hits the line and Jeffrey Herlings wins the race here. MXGP Race 1. Round 10 of the FIM Motocross World Championship at Orleans in Russia. Cairoli looks to have hung on for second as Herlings backs off quite considerably then on the final lap potentially. That's not Cairoli. There's Cairoli over the line now, 19.5 seconds down. And then DeSalle next, just 5 seconds further back on that Monster Energy Kawasaki. A very, very tough MXGP first race. But it was Jeffrey Herlings who was victorious in Moto number 1. Tony Cairoli having a word with his team down there and no doubt talking about conditions here, saying how difficult it is. There's Claudio De Carli looking on. So anyway, while Tony Cairoli disputes the circuit conditions with his team manager and mechanic Nat Sereno there. Jeffrey Herlings is getting ready to speak to Lisa Leyland, and 2 goggles the poorer, but he won't care because he was victorious. He gained 25 points in MXGP Race 1. How tough was it, though, for Jeffrey Herlings? Here's Lisa Leyland getting ready to speak to our Race 1 winner from the Netherlands. Just having a bit of a clean-up. And here he is with Lisa.
Jeffrey Herlings.
Sorry.
It's okay, no problem. Jeffrey Herlings, just tell us, you got another MXGP race win under your belt. How tough was it out there?
It was so tough. I mean, like, it'd been raining, like, the heaven was just open for like 2 hours in a row or something, so the track is really gnarly. I needed a good start, and I finally got it, so it was about, almost took the whole shot, and then Tony just got past me, and I did my own race, and tried to keep my goggle clean, and once when I felt like I was ready, I overtook Tony, and all I need second motor is the same start, and then hopefully we can get on the box. So we keep going, and hopefully have some luck with the start.
Good job. Thanks, Jeffrey.
Anyway, Jeffrey Herlings started the race with 2 pairs of goggles. Pretty soon he was down to 1. By the end of the race, he was down to none. But it's 25 points on the board for the Red Bull KTM rider, whose race win tally is now starting to add up. 4 in total now for the Bullets. And he, well, I'll tell you what, he hasn't been outside the top 5 since Valkenswaard in terms of moto finishes. So looking good for Jeffrey Herlings here. Official confirmation coming up then for MXGP Race 1. Jeffrey Herlings wins it for Red Bull KTM. His teammate Cairoli second. Monster Energy Kawasaki's Clement Desal was third. The Rockstar Energy Husqvarna's of Max Anstey and Gauthier Paulin fourth and fifth, with the Honda Red Moto of Alessandro Lupino sixth. Suzuki World MXGP of Aminas Jessiconis 7. Max Nagel 8th. Tonus 9 for Wilvo Yamaha, and Fevra 10. Monster Energy Yamaha. Evgeny Mikhailov was 11, Glenn Koldenov 12, Bobryshev HRC Honda was 13, then Didyka on the 24 MX Lucasors Honda, Rui Gonçalves Altobiano Husqvarna, then Jaromir Romanchik, Damon Graulis, Bakishlev Golovkin, Vladislav Lenov, and Tenno Leok. Championship standings then, as you can see. Tony Cairoli now on 369 and Gauthier Paulin on 313. Desal there in third still. He was 8 points adrift. He's now 5 points adrift of second place Gauthier Paulin, but more tellingly, at the top of the championship, the difference between Tony Cairoli and Gauthier Paulin was, what, about 56 points, 57 points, something like that. It was already more than 2 motos before we came here, of course. Well, as the fans dry out, here's what happened in MXGP Race 1. It was a mudfest to start with. The rain had just stopped, so the track was in probably better condition at the start of the race than it was at the end of the race. As Herlings threw his first pair of goggles away there immediately as he went through the first turn, so that's all that was for. Then he kept his distance from Cairoli, who then started to close in and got Anstey there in third place. And that was a battle for the lead in the early stages. Fevra then got himself into around 4th or 5th place as Desal ran into the bike, and I think Tonus ran over the bike. Couldn't see it. Might have been just a back marker though, but in the end, Fevra dropped down and then down further, came in for a pit stop and then went back out and eventually came home in 10th place in what was a very up and down race for the former champ. Cairoli though was pushing on in the lead. Tonus fell in the later stages of the race. He would also come in for a pit stop, but eventually came home in 9th for Wilvo Yamaha. But Herlings then eventually found his way past Cairoli and into the lead. It was a high charge through the field for some of the riders, but Clement Desal nicked third away from Max Anstey in the closing stages and immediately did away with his goggles as well. feeling that third was going to be safe, but it was Jeffrey Herlings who was a clear winner. 19 seconds clear of Tony Cairoli in race 1 to Sal third, and Steve Paulin rounding out the top 5. Foxhole shot. Time. Wow, was it Cairoli or was it Herlings? Very close. Great start there for Bobryshev as well. Tony Cairoli then extends his Foxhole shot tally. He goes to 7th. KTM now on 9. If there was a prize for manufacturers' hole shots. Apologies for the lack of commentary at the start of the race there. Our images went down here on site right at the start, so we went almost a lap without that. So obviously I was just seeing that Foxhole shot for the very first time. But here's some of the best moments from race 1. Some of the best moments then from MXGP Race 1. And, well, what an interesting race it was. Next up is MX300 Race 2. See you shortly.